Manx Radio's Update with Beth Espey.
Well, first, my good evening. Welcome to Update this very sunny Friday. I hope you're really well. This is your rundown of what's been happening news-wise over the past 24 hours or so. Coming up before 5:30, how accessible are the island's play areas for children of all abilities? We'll be finding out. We'll also be finding out about a dementia workshop taking place over here next week. Also, the island played host to a significant maritime event today, and two bears have had a special trip around the island. We'll find out what was going on there. We'll also keep an eye on the traffic and the travel and the weather as well. And if you'd like to get in touch at all, you are more than welcome. You can email studio@manxradio.com or you can text us. It is 166 177. We'll start with a news headline roundup from Amy. Fastamai.
Douglas Council's received planning approval for its £1.4 million marine garden renovation scheme. The plans include a shipwreck climbing frame, as well as beach showers, new seating and wheelchair-friendly access. A government minister says there's still a lot to do in the last year of the current administration. The Isle of Man's next general election is due to take place in September 2026. David Ashford's been a member of the Council of Ministers for most of this government and much of the last one too.
What this administration needs to do is be able to demonstrate to people what has changed for the better in their lives. There's been a huge amount of challenges, but hopefully now this administration get things on a stable footing, ready for the next.
Ronaldsway Met Office says temperatures in excess of 27 degrees Celsius are becoming more common on the Isle of Man. It says forecasts suggest they could reach that level again this weekend. Stuart Davison says warmer spells are being seen more often.
The last time we got above 27 was 2 years ago in 2023, but we also got it in 2018 and 2022. But before that, there was a good 12-year gap.
There are calls for a dedicated play space for children with additional needs on the Isle of Man. It's as a new UK report says half of the parents surveyed there believed their child's excluded from play because of a lack of suitable facilities. Charlotte Leonard from Peel says she'd love to have a park specifically for SEND children like hers.
It'd be amazing if we could maybe have a park just for children with additional needs, maybe with a lot of sensory resources and things in there, just so they can have their own dedicated space.
To international news now, and two elderly women have died after a suspected stolen BMW crashed into a care home in Sunderland during a police chase. 8 residents were taken to hospital on Wednesday night. 2 men have been rearrested on suspicion of manslaughter. Carlos Alcaraz is into his 3rd consecutive Wimbledon final. The 2-time defending champion sealed a 3-1 win over Taylor Fritz, clinching the 4th set in a tie-break. And Oasis are back on their home turf in Manchester for the first time in 16 years. Doors have opened for fans at Heaton Park as brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher continue their reunion tour. Those are your headlines. We'll be back with more at 6.
Thank you very much indeed, Amy. Now the weather brought to you by Manx Glass and Glazing, and this evening dry and sunny, light breezes, temperatures still around 20 or 21. It's going to be dry overnight, clear skies and light winds. It will be very warm though, 15 or 16 Celsius. Tomorrow becoming hot and sunny, mainly light easterly winds, top temperatures 27 Celsius. And again on Sunday, highest temperatures around 25 with light winds. Let's not worry about Monday just yet. Sunset this evening will be at 9:48. Sunrise tomorrow morning, 5 exactly.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
If you run a small business or just need more room in the back, Philshaw Vehicles has the perfect van or light commercial for all your needs and can sort out any finance. Based in the Tremode Estate, view philshawvehicles.im or call 49 51 49.
A great night's sleep got even better with Zed's Bedding Store. From quality Beldorm bed linen and mattress protectors, fleece and woven throws to luxury duvets from the fine bedding company. Zed's Bedding Ramsey, next to Isle of Man Bank.
Visit Ramsey Art Gallery for a fabulous range of top brand watches and stunning gold and silver jewellery, gifts for all occasions, and of course our gallery of prints and original artworks. Find all this and more at Ramsey Art Gallery Jewellers and Engravers opposite the RNLI shop.
Reach the Isle of Man's biggest radio audience with Manx Radio. Airtime, sponsorship and digital opportunities available. For more information on how we can help your business grow its market share, contact the friendly, experienced team on sales at manxradio.com.
You're listening to Update here on Manx Radio. It's just gone 5:05. And first tonight, the death of a fisherman who drowned after falling off a ladder into Douglas Harbour was an accident, according to an inquest. The body of Lee Scott was recovered from the water by divers on the 13th of November last year, following a 5-day search operation. Sean Cowper has the details.
The 46-year-old who lived in Douglas lost his footing as he made his way off a friend's fishing boat on the morning of the 8th of November as he collected equipment from the vessel. BBC Isle of Man reports coroner James Brooks said Mr Scott was likely to have been weighed down by the items he was carrying when he fell into the water. The inquest heard Mr Scott had phoned his friend to ask if he could borrow some fishing equipment and was told he could collect it from the other man's boat, the Manx Maiden. CCTV footage showed him arriving at the harbour shortly before 9:30am, carrying a black bag which he left on the pier near to his own vessel. He was then captured walking along the area to his friend's vessel, which was berthed before climbing down a harbour ladder to get onto the boat. The inquest was told that Mr Scott had a difficult relationship with alcohol and had gone for a drink at the nearby Old Market Inn shortly before making his way to the harbour. Toxicology reports showed his alcohol levels were more than twice the legal limit for driving at the time of his death. He was reported missing on the morning of the 9th of November by his then partner, who hadn't heard from him. Evidence from a diver who recovered Mr Scott's body from the harbour stated lead rope, a fire extinguisher and 2 bags containing fishing tools and safety equipment, including a life jacket, were found on the seabed in the area. In her evidence, Mr Scott's mother, Joan Scott, described her son as a sociable person who was kind and considerate. Mr Brooks said he was satisfied that Mr Scott had been able to board the boat on the 8th of November to collect the items, but had fallen into the harbour when attempting to climb off the vessel carrying them. Given the weight of the equipment, his intoxication levels, and the likelihood that the lower part of the ladder was already missing at the time, he had lost his footing and was weighed down by the items after falling into the water, the coroner added. He concluded the death was accidental.
Sean Cowper reporting. 7.5 minutes past 5 now. How accessible are the Isle of Man's play areas for children of all abilities? Well, it's a question we've been asking after evidence in the UK suggests some children with disabilities have to travel miles to find a play area they're able to use. Now, not many parks over here have accessible equipment, but is that the only answer? Amy Griffiths has been finding out.
As a parent of a toddler myself, I've been to my fair share of parks here on the Isle of Man. And it's fair to say that not many of them seem to have equipment that could be used for a child with disabilities. It's something Jo Sale from Peel has also noticed.
For us, my daughter's 8. There are a few parks, so for example, the Morag Park in Ramsey has the roundabout that you can wheel a wheelchair onto the plate and then you can spin them round, which is fantastic. My daughter loves that. But it's things that we lack. So like a seesaw that you can actually wheel a wheelchair onto, a swing. My daughter loves a swing. And we live in Peel. Peel Park doesn't have anything for wheelchair users at all.
Charlotte Leonard is also from Peel and goes to parks all over the island with her 3 children.
I have Beau and Bear, who are 4-year-old twins. Beau has autism and Bear has a developmental delay. And I have a little girl, Belle, and she is about to turn 2. My boys explore the world with their mouth and their hands and their feet, so quite often they don't wear shoes. So it's good to go to places that are like different textures and different smells and sights and sounds. There is some really good parks on the island for that, but there's nothing specifically for SEND children. Children like ours, they need freedom, they need to be able to run and enjoy themselves and let off steam. So it would be brilliant to get a SEND park on the Isle of Man that would be suitable for children with additional needs.
A new report says half of the parents surveyed in the UK believe their child's excluded from play there because of a lack of suitable facilities. Kate Jordanson from Isle of Play have been telling me just how important play is to a child of any ability.
It's a human right, and I think especially for children with additional needs, it gives them opportunities to explore their senses in their body as well.
That is the Isle of Play representative there, ending that report from Amy Griffiths. It's coming up to 5:10. Now, in Peel next week, there's going to be a free Understanding Dementia workshop, and it's for families, friends and the community of the Isle of Man, and will be held at the Castleview Care Home. So it's on Thursday, the 17th of July, and to find out more, we're joined live on the line now by dementia trainer Chris Elsley, who will be coming over for this. Good afternoon, Chris. First of all, what is this workshop intended to do?
Well, last time I came over to Castleview, we delivered training to our care teams, and we always put on an educational workshop for families and friends. And we were asked last time if we could perhaps put it on for the public. So we've decided that it would be a great opportunity to open it up to the public of Peel, and for carers, for the community, and of course for any other professionals out there that would like to see what we do. The workshop helps to empower those caring for loved ones and helps raise awareness about what it really means to live with dementia.
And we know that dementia is an increasing problem because of the ageing population. And there's a lot of fear, isn't there, for some people, Chris?
There is, and as part of our commitment to our compassionate care and community outreach, I think it's quite important that we raise awareness for people. So from my point of view, I think that having an understanding is the very first step to compassion.
And so how is this workshop going to work then?
So we run the workshop for approximately 2 hours. So there's a bit of interaction at the beginning, getting people to talk to each other. There may be people come in where they've not been into a care home before. So it's a very welcoming home. Castleview is a beautiful home. And so it's a very nice home to come into and feel very comfortable. And halfway through the workshop, we switch into a bit of an experiential section for people so they can have a real good understanding and feel what it's like to live with dementia on a daily basis. And then I normally leave plenty of time at the end for people that want to chat and ask other questions.
So really it's giving that first-hand experience, as you say, which gives people that greater understanding. So this is happening on Thursday. It's from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. What do people need to do to register their interest to come along?
All they need to do is give a quick call to Castleview and talk to Helen, and she will reserve you a place. Or you can email in reception@castleview at caringhomes.org, and somebody will reserve you a place. That's all you need to do. And it's free, it's community focused, and it's there to help families, friends and neighbours, anybody who wants to support those people living with dementia. So it doesn't matter if you're at the beginning of your journey or if you've been walking it for years. It's a practical workshop, and it offers guidance, emotional support, and it's in a relaxed and welcoming space. That's the thing that you need to remember, that it's for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. Come along and you'll enjoy the evening.
Chris Elsley, thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to get in touch with the Castleview Nursing Home to register your interest, you can call them as well. It's 841 400. That's 841 400. That workshop taking place next Thursday, that's the 17th of July, from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Nothing to report on the police pages, which is always good news, but there are some roadworks to look out for. Temporary lights on Woodburn Road in Douglas, that's at the Albany Road junction. Finch Road, it's closed between St Barnabas Hill and Christian Road for sewer work. There are temporary lights on the main road in Colby at the Ballacry turn, that's for water main work, so do look out for those. But all looking good down at the airport. I know there were a few little delays earlier, the Liverpool-Logan Air delay, but it's not too bad, it's only just over half an hour or so, and all looking good down at the airport as well, and the steam packet too.
Ask how you can spread the cost interest-free at Quayside.
It is 13 minutes past 5. Now, Douglas Council has received planning approval for its £1.4 million marine garden renovation scheme. The local authority's project will see a new play area for children with inclusive equipment and an urban sports area with new seating. Local Democracy reporter Emma Draper has the details.
The City Council put the application forward in February this year, following 2 rounds of public consultation, which 600 people attended. It says careful consideration has been given to the designs of each garden to mitigate potential future flooding. The local authority has previously said it hopes that a sympathetic scheme will help the promenade become more utilised. Plans across Gardens 4 and 5 include a shipwreck climbing frame, which will be adapted for the sea environment, as well as new seating and wheelchair-friendly access. The council says it will support sensory, exploratory and social play. Approval has also been granted to revamp Queen's Gardens at the end of the promenade. The beach huts, toilet block and the IRIS building would be retained as part of the plan, but a new decked seating area will be installed by the huts along with a water feature. Benches and covered seating have also been included, whilst play boulders would be installed for children in the garden. The promenade scheme has been undertaken by Douglas Council following Storm Barry in 2021, which damaged parts of the sunken gardens.
That is local democracy reporter Emma Draper reporting there. It's 5:15 exactly, and the Isle of Man has today hosted a gathering of industry leaders, policymakers and innovators at the Maritime UK Isle of Man Maritime Coastal Powerhouse event. Now, this was jointly organised by Isle of Man Maritime and Maritime UK. It was held at the Bradda Glen in Port Erin, and organisers say the event really aimed to underscore the island's vital role in the global maritime sector. Well, to find out more about it, I'm joined now by the Chief Executive of Maritime UK, Chris Shirling-Rook MBE. Chris, good evening. What was this event and how did it come to be hosted over here?
Good evening. Well, firstly, listen, thank you for having me on. It's like coming home. I used to go to Ballasalla School literally 30 years ago. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to bring the first Coastal Powerhouse event outside of the UK that we wanted to bring to the Isle of Man. And effectively, it's a way that we can sort of share knowledge. What are the skills we need in the maritime sector? What's the digital technology that we need? You know, what can we learn from everything that's happening on the island? And also showcase some of the things that we're doing in the UK.
And also, I suppose, explore the opportunities, particularly for young people in this industry.
It's a big problem. So there's a big problem in attracting youngsters into the sector. It's a brilliant sector. It pays really well. And it isn't just about ships or port operations. It's lawyers, it's academics, it's a whole range of industries. Telecommunications is part of maritime. And it really is a job for life that pays incredibly well and is full of adventure. And you know, part of this is reminding ourselves that we do need to work harder to get the next generation in.
How well then, Chris, would you say the public understands the industry's importance?
I think we've forgotten a little bit. You know, decades ago, we would have an uncle, or I'd have an uncle or a brother or a dad. In fact, my dad actually wasn't in the Navy. So you'd have that natural connectivity with maritime. In the UK, the industry employs about 1.1 million people, and 95% of everything in the UK comes by ship. I suspect it's going to be even higher on the island. So it's critically important. But so often it sort of happens behind port walls now, or it happens in offices. And, you know, it's still a huge employer, but the awareness it probably isn't where we need it to be.
So this was the first event then, Chris. How was it received?
Well, it's still going on now. I mean, you know, we were delighted to have the Chief Minister here. We also had the Minister for Infrastructure, the UK Department for Transport Maritime Minister was also involved, and having a cross-section of both UK and Ireland maritime experts, you know, incredibly well received. As I say, it's the first time we've taken this outside of the UK, and it was a natural choice for the Isle of Man, not just because obviously of my own personal connection here, but also the Isle of Man is such a maritime powerhouse, and you know, incredibly well received, so much knowledge shared, and it will go on from strength to strength.
Well, Chris, you could not have picked a better day to come home to the Isle of Man, could you? Thank you so much for joining us. Just very briefly, where can people find out more about this?
Well, effectively on the Isle of Man website, Isle of Man Maritime website, which is maritime.im. Everything will be there. And please get involved. It's a brilliant industry, and it really is a global leading industry on the island.
Wonderful. Have you got any plans for this evening? You're going to take in some of the sights?
Listen, I mean, how beautiful is the weather? How beautiful is Port Erin? You know, I don't quite remember it being like this all the time when I was a youngster, but I'm told it's like this every day now. Every taxi driver I've said, oh no, it's like this every single day. So yeah, I think one or two drinks this evening, and more knowledge sharing.
Absolutely. It's called networking, I think. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That is the Chief Executive of Maritime UK, Chris Shirling-Rook MBE, talking about that event held here for the first time, the Isle of Man Maritime Coastal Powerhouse event. There'll be lots more information on that at manxradio.com. Now it is 5:20, and following the Southern 100 road races this week, racing action heads to the north of the island tomorrow and Sunday for rounds 5 and 6 of the Andreas Racing Association Championship at Derby. Lee Bartram of the ARA thinks the busy entry list, coupled with the forecast good conditions, should make for a very entertaining weekend of solo and sidecar events.
The weather looks like it's going to be absolutely amazing, and we normally have practice starting around 9:30 on a race day, and then racing gets underway around 11:45 to 12 o'clock. But this weekend, it looks like it's going to be a spectacular one with really big grids, because we have a number of competitors staying over from the Southern 100 to compete with us. I think we've got 11 or 12 sidecars this weekend competing, including Ryan and Callum Crowe, who are currently leading the Northern Fuels Open Sidecar Centre Championship. And we've got a number of solos staying with us as well. So it's looking like it's going to be a fantastic weekend.
Along with the steady number that you get throughout the season, not just on a weekend like this, when you do have those that are maybe involved in the Southern in some way that can come and support the event just for that weekend, 2 or 3 wheeled racing, how good is it to know that you are getting that support, that other people are looking to the likes of yourselves and saying, well, actually, I'm going to get something out of this meeting, not just the Southern 100 early in the week?
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and it gives a lot of the sidecar guys and solo guys, if they do want to stay over, a lot of extra track time, and it also gives them additional signatures towards their licence if they want to try and move up a level, or even, to compete at the Manx Grand Prix, because we do have quite a few competitors, local competitors, who are competing in the Manx Grand Prix this year, which we're very proud of. I think we've had 10 in total over the past 3 years, and this year we've got 6, including Blake Kelly, Wayne Avis, Grant Thompson, Sam Norton, Dale Brew, and 2024 double ARA champion Luke Blevins. So it just kind of goes to show how important the ARA is to motorsport on the island and to the road racing events here.
That is Lee Bartram from the Andreas Racing Association. So entry this weekend, it's £6 for adults. Under 16s go free. Do, though, go to the Manx Radio Motorsport website, because there is a competition on there for all the future ARA meetings where you can win tickets. If you haven't been up there, though, it is a glorious event, and the weather is going to be the absolute icing on the cake this weekend. Now, 2 special bears have been driven around the Isle of Man today by local bikers. Joey Bear, named after Joey Dunlop, and Kibby Bear, after a teenager who died in July last year, are part of an annual motorbike teddy bear relay by Relay Riders UK. Now, the cuddly mascots are carried by volunteer motorcycle riders to raise money for charity. And this year, Mental Health Motorbike has been selected as a charity of choice, and it's the first time the relays have come over to the island, as regional coordinator Ashley Knowles explains.
Joy Bear, obviously well linked to the motorbikes, which started for the first time they've had a start in Northern Ireland as well. So I was fortunate enough to take the first leg, and I'm over here on holidays, so it coincided to meet up. And Kibby Bear is the other bear. It was a family that the charity supported after their young daughter, who'd been bullied badly at school, died by suicide. So the family were very much glad of the support from the charity. So we're just there to help everybody.
And also, raising more awareness towards the charity means raising more awareness about mental health with riders as well.
Yes, indeed, with riders and the riding community, because I think the NHS say that 1 in 4 people will suffer with some form of mental health condition during a year, and less than 2 or 3 of those will get actual support, in the NHS or whatever. So we're there just as a listening, supportive, non-judgmental charity, so just somebody to talk to, spread the word. So it's another first for everybody. Like I say, 2 birds this year for the first, and coming over to the island for the first. So there were several local riders who were really interested in joining up with it. So
I understand you guys, the bears have travelled through England, through the Isle of Wight. Why the Isle of Man?
Well, I think Isle of Man has got a slight link with motorbike racing for some reason, and there were several people from the island, locals, saw the riders relay and wanted to join in. So we've been able to bring it over this year. Oh, I hear it.
That was the sound of bikes, I think, as Ashley Knowles was talking there to Chanel. Find out more on the Manx Radio website. There's also a lovely video with Joey and Kibby Bear meeting Joey Dunlop on the mountain. It's 23 minutes past 5. Let's join Rob now for this evening's sports news.
Fast am I. Well, to start off tonight, FC Isle of Man play the first of 2 games in less than 2 days this evening as part of their pre-season preparations. The Ravens will face North Wales-based side NFA FC at the Bowl in Douglas tonight with kick-off scheduled for 7 p.m. The Island side will then have a quick turnaround before welcoming National League side Brackley Town to the Balaclone Stadium in Ramsey on Saturday. For that latter match, FC Isle of Man manager Paul Jones is hoping his players can embrace the challenge of higher level opposition.
I hope they're excited by it. I think Brackley have been the last 2 pre-seasons and we've given them good games. Ultimately their quality is told in those games, but we've pushed them and I'm looking for us to do that again. So hopefully the players be wearing the shirt, really are up for the challenge, and it'll be tough, but I'll have to suffer probably, especially with the weather.
And that match will get underway tomorrow at 2 p.m. Elsewhere in football, Gyms have become one of the latest Ireland clubs looking for a new first-team manager. The club says it's looking for a dedicated individual who can help the club rebuild, lead a large squad and support the possibility of expanding to 2 teams going forward. Last season, Gyms only fielded a team in Ardern and Drug Unlimited Combination 2, finishing 10th. And finally, in boxing, Manx pro fighter Matthew Rennie returns to the ring tonight. He's competing on the card of the Lights Out show at Liverpool Olympia, which is being presented by Warren Boxing Management. Magic Rennie's pro record currently stands at 15 victories, 1 draw and 1 defeat. His most recent bout saw him earn a unanimous points decision win over Octavian Grati at Europa Point Arena in Gibraltar in March.
And there's something else happening starting tomorrow, and I can't quite remember what it is, Rob. Do you know?
I think it might be just the small matter of the 2025 Island Games you're referring to there.
Yes. Have you got your sun cream packed?
Well, that's going to be a difficult one because obviously I can only take a rucksack on board the flight, so I'm going to have to remember at the other end. A hat has been packed, though, I can confirm.
Well, that's a very, very good thing to hear. But there will be full coverage of the Island Games, Rob. I hope you have a fantastic time. I know you've been speaking to all the teams who've been going. The Sportscast interviews are available at manxradio.com if you'd like to go and speak or to hear them speak about what they're hoping to achieve over the next week or so. So we do wish every single person heading over to the Island Games all the very best. Rob, of course, as well, who will be brilliant as always, giving us all the feedback, taking some videos of everybody over there. So do stay tuned to manxradio.com because we will bring you the very latest on how our teams are doing. But that is pretty much all from Update tonight. Thank you so much for your company as ever. For all the information on tonight's top stories, you can head over to the Manx Radio website. If you'd like to comment on some of them, you can join us on social media as well. So coming up next, it's Rob again with the Friday Sport Preview. Then Michelle Kane has Greatest Hits from 6. It is Sweet and Swing with Howard from 9. And then Rianne will be here with After Hours from 10. And as I say, it is going to be an absolutely glorious evening. So you can be outside listening to the radio with a glass of something chilled, and that'd be absolutely perfect. Whatever you're doing this weekend, have a great one, and we'll talk to you again soon.